Hey all, it's Jace here from BlackOvis. I have a really cool guest here. This is Mr. Dale Perry with Evolution Outdoors. I made the long drive from Arizona up here to Utah. We're super excited to have him. We love his products, and I really just wanted to go over some, common questions we get, kind of what makes your release different than other hinges on the market, and then just go into your broadhead line as well. So thanks for coming, Dale.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure being here. It's great to team up with BlackOvis. And yeah, anything you need to know, go fire away.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever I can help with.
I'm familiar with your release. I've shot a hinge for a long time, but it has its limitations, right? We all know that, especially from a hunting aspect. I have always preferred to shoot a hinge all the time. So yeah, just break it down for me and the customer. Like, what is different, and why did you design it the way you did?
Well, I've hunted with the hinge for the last 5 years, and there's certain things that you have to deal with when you're sitting in a tree stand or a blind. What do you do with your release? So I wanted something that you could hook on your D-loop so it would stay there, so I could just reach up and grab it when the time came.
Yeah.
And the other thing is in spot and stock. It's like with spot and stock, you can put your release away. You don't have to really worry about it too much. But what do you do your last 10 yards? The last 10 yards is always key. Do you knock an arrow and commit to pulling a regular hinge and keeping it on the string
the whole time?
Yeah. And if you get there and the animal's not where you're at and you have to re-range, you have to take it off, put it away, go back. Well, this, you can hook it on, same thing, your D-loop. If the animal's not where you wanted it to be, you can let it go,
just like
range
a thumb
it,
button.
Exactly like a thumb button, and get to where you want and make your shot.
That's cool. So one of the biggest things that I like about this is I have the option to either shoot it without a click at all.
Correct.
Or I can add my click, and it's not an audible click really. It's more of a feel, which I know when I've been hunting like KG whitetails or something, and they're already, I draw, maybe I didn't pick the perfect time to draw, and they're already on edge. The last thing I need is that metallic click when I hit my starting point through my shot cycle. So
I think that's the one question or comment that we get the most is people will get it, and because we've said when you get to the click, you can go, some of the features you can do with it, and it is not a click. It's exactly that. We've tried to kind of implement what we call a tactical feel.
Yeah.
Or a vibration.
Yep.
Click is just something that everybody knows is, hey, I get there
term.
And I get to a warning. So it doesn't have a click. So yes, you can do this. You can kind of see the neck move. If anything, it's super light. You go back over it. That's the other side. You could reset the release. So there's the click. There's back over it.
That's super cool.
So it happens. I mean, you want to let down, an animal walks behind something. It is designed to hunt with.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the other thing too is I have, just like anybody that's done this long enough, I probably have a dozen different hinges out there.
It's the archery candy of the world.
It's bad news is what it is. But the cool thing is I can adjust how far my click is to when it fires as well with your release, correct?
Correct.
So like instead of saying I want a 10 thou click or a 15 thou click, I can actually adjust it.
Correct.
I have some releases where I like them because they're hotter, and I like some that are cooler depending on how I'm feeling that day, or maybe, if I'm shooting my heavier holding weight bow or whatever.
Right.
This is super customizable, and there's really nothing else like that on the market.
Well, and any dual sear, because it has two sears. So what you're doing is you're taking your sears, which right at different heights, and you're moving them forward and backward. So when it drops off of this sear and lands on this sear, that's adjustable. If you line them up, it will just drop off.
Yeah.
There's no click or tactical feel at all.
Yeah.
Getting to the click is all about hand position. And most people are so afraid of a hinge, they want to crank over it, and then they move all their sears up and around.
Yeah.
The ibex, you don't have to do that.
Yeah. It's super cool. I am a huge fan of this release. This is my personal release here in front of me. It's been years since I've hunted with a hinge because of the problems that we just talked about. One last thing that I think is a huge talking point is, why is your pivot point of the release head itself this far back? You and I have talked about this, but if you would explain that, that'd be awesome.
So all hinges on the market, all their components are up top. So what happens is when they get it to their click and they get it back and they're in their anchor point, what happens is if it doesn't go off, if they can't get it past the click because they're frozen, they're out of position, whatever the situation is, they want to rotate it. Well, when you rotate it hard, you can see how the head moves. So what I did is I took this all the way down and put all the sears in the bottom. So now the head stays in one spot and the release actually moves around. So it eliminates your lefts and rights. Way more efficient, way more consistent. And the target archery community is starting to see that. We just really had a young lady win Archer of the Year and set 2 national records back east and shooting this hinge. So.
Yeah, this is target quality for the hunter, which is awesome. It is. Not all target products transfer over to the hunting world well, but you're looking at one of them right here. So I can't say enough good about it. One big thing I want to point out too is, you know, if you want to put a lanyard or something on this, it's got these extra holes here. So if you want it to hang on your wrist or something, some guys prefer that. You know, where your thumb peg goes, you do have additional holes that you won't be using. So you can run this on a lanyard, which is really cool for those of you that want to have it hooked to your wrist, which for me, where this clamps onto my string, I probably am not going to worry about that, but you do have the ability to do that with this release. So really cool. Sizing, I know you have a couple different sizes.
So we do. We have what we call a small medium, and then we have a medium large. And if you look at your hand and if you measure across your index finger, you can kind of feel like I'm right at 1 inch.
Okay.
So I can shoot either one comfortably. Okay. If your finger starts to get any bigger than that, or it's bigger, what will happen in the small medium is you'll start to feel push. Edge. Yeah, you'll start to feel pinch right there. So that's one of the things. So for me, I can shoot it either way because I keep it all right here. But that's for the average guy. If you don't have big hands, you're probably going to be really happy with the small medium.
Okay, yeah, and that's exactly what this one is. Got fat fingers, but it still seems to fit me great. But I could probably go with either or, and I'm right on the in between.
The same. Yep. The same.
So one other thing, I don't think it's a huge issue, but you know, I know there's a brass. Some people may be questioning the materials. It's pretty much a feel thing, correct?
It's 100% a feel thing. Brass releases came out. I mean, they were steel first, and they came out in brass, and people have just developed a feel for a heavier release. Yeah. If that's what you want. When I shoot target stuff, I actually shoot a brass release, but when I hunt, I hunt with an aluminum. No different point of impact.
Just whatever you prefer.
It's whatever you prefer. The one thing I will want to add is when you are adjusting the sears, we tell you, if you watch, we have some videos on YouTube. If you do a quarter turn on these sears, because your hooks are only landing on 10, 12 thousandths, a quarter turn is how much thread you're actually moving that sear is a lot. Okay. So very small increments, you loosen one side, tighten the other, and that will push it one way or the other. That's the biggest key, is if you do it in very small increments, if you feel like you've got it close and it's in this position right here, because this ring finger is swept back, okay, which is how you have your set. Yep. And you said, I want it a little bit hotter. You can actually take this, unscrew the screw, and move this up, and it will speed up the release because it changes your hand position. And so you won't have to be always playing with the sears.
Necessarily. If you like the way your click feels,
and you're liking, and you want to just speed it up a little bit, that's another way to adjust. I always say, get this close and then make your movement with your ring finger.
Oh, that's really good to know. I haven't done that, but I may play with that now.
Yeah, so, and you'll feel that it feels so much hotter.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, like I said, I'm a huge fan of it. It's been a long time, actually, since I bought a release. Believe it or not, I just kind of always had my tried and true ones, and this was like, yep, I got to have that in my arsenal, and I've been super happy with it. I actually need a second one just so I have a backup.
We like that. Yeah, we like that a lot. Love to hear that. No, we're really happy, and it's been everything that we've hoped it would be.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you guys can obviously find this release on BlackOvis.com. We have it in all the finish options and in both sizes. So please jump online, check it out. If you have any questions, of course, you can call Dell's company, Evolution Outdoors. You're welcome to talk to their customer service team, or call in to BlackOvis, or jump online, email us. We're happy to help you with any questions there. Dell, not only do you have a very successful release, but tell us about your broadheads, and from your previous endeavors, you have a lot of experience with broadheads. So
we do. I started another broadhead company. I sold the Gravedigger broadhead. Started that in 2012, and I live out west. I live in Arizona. Yeah. So we got to the point where we designed it for elk, which is our main staple out there. Yeah. Yep, out west. Had to fly really well. I since sold that company, and everything I've learned from the development of that Broadhead and all the good parts and the best parts, I've incorporated into the new Broadheads. It started out as the Jekyll and Hyde, which is a fixed and or mechanical, same ferrule. You can just switch the blades, same flight profile.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and that since then we've added so many blade options.
Yeah.
And they'll vary grain weight a little bit based on different blades. But for the most part, we all have the same flight profile. I killed a turkey with our turkey ricker heads at 62 yards. So,
That's
I mean,
impressive.
they fly just like a broadhead, but they expand. It's awesome. I mean, everything we can do. It's designed for elk. So one of our main questions is the hide, which is our expandable. Think hide hybrid.
Yeah.
Is it good for elk? And we have some of the top outfitters in Arizona recommend that product for their.
That's
and
awesome.
I know we've taken over probably 500 elk over the
That's
years.
insane. Yeah, I've always shot mechanicals, and I've never been one to really question them. I know if I've ever had an issue, it was because of the guy behind the bow, not necessarily it was shot placement.
Not the broadhead?
Right? No, yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But my point is, these heads have a big, you want to call it a cut-on contact blade in the front here that is fixed blade diameter. So it really puts a lot of people to ease, I guess. They worry about mechanicals. You can get a lot of the benefits of a mechanical here with the larger cutting diameter. Yet if this failed, which I know they won't because these are an awesome head, but if somebody wants to naysay or say they're going to fail, they still have a fixed blade there to kind of help them sleep at night, which is cool.
And the kick out blades are sharp all the way to the point. So literally you are shooting a fixed bladed broadhead if nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and then gravy, you get a massive cut like that when it does. So the little bit I've played with these, it's insane how well they fly. And I practice long and hope for short, right?
Yes,
but I've shot these out over 100
should.
yards, just like everybody has, and they're impressive to say the least. So you've got aluminum ferrule versions and steel, right? For
Correct.
those that prefer heavier.
So for 100 grains, we have 70-75 aircraft aluminum. We can't make a 100 grain broadhead in steel. There's just not enough material there.
Right.
So we have the 100s, 125s, and 150s. And then we also have our glue-in system.
So cool, which those of you who haven't played with the glue-in system, I highly recommend tinkering with it. Just eliminates a lot of the concentricity issues that you may have with different components, and then especially going with some of these micro diameter 4mm 166
which is what they're designed for.
Exactly. Like, not all components are created equally, and there's a lot of component failures there. And the glue-ins are cool if you match them up right to your components that already exist. You can be shooting, within a couple grains, if not exact, which is really cool.
Very, very close.
And you confirm your tape out to 100 or whatever you're ready to hunt. You can hot meld them in or whatever, so you can always pull them out and go back to field tips if you need to. So really cool. Like, kudos to offering a glue-in option. I think it's the way of the future. So. But Del, thank you for coming. I don't know if there's anything else we need to cover here, but I'm super excited. Your products have done nothing but good things for us here. We all love them and shoot them. I know a lot of consumers, once they try them, they're going to love them, and we hope to continue growing this thing. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate the partnership, and it's been great dealing with you guys and seeing how the brands gets to be expanded.
Yeah, it's fun. It's what it's all about for sure. So, well, thanks, guys. Please jump on BlackOvis.com or give Mr. Dell a call. You can jump on EvolutionOutdoors.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
EvolutionOutdoors.com. Give his customer service team or shoot them an email and get any questions you may have answered. So, thank you for tuning in.